Like,
Yes.
if you talk about biology, logy, this is the root word for
Study.
study of living beings. Living is bio. Now,
Yep.
we are organisms, so there is one sexual reproduction
And
concept.
asexual reproduction. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm aware.
okay. So when you say A, that is not in biology. So it is when no, not both sexes are involved, only single sex is involved. So you can say that organism is bisexual either, or
Mhm.
it is unicellular. What do you mean by unicellular?
It's like single cell. It's multi-celled, like unisingular cell. Sorry, ugh, no,
Single
that's
cell.
multi-cellular. Single cellular.
Yeah. So when I say single-celled organism, they hardly have cell organelles. That is the part of cell. What is cell?
Its cell is basically cell can be defined as like a organism or a structure of a living organism.
Yeah, it is a structural and functional unit of life. Uh, when we have the smallest particle like atom, it is equivalent to cell. Then group of cell which perform specific functions that become tissue. Group of tissue is organ, and group of organs is basically organ system, and this organ system makes an organism. So if I talk about the multicellular organism, then it has various organ system. If I talk about human per se, it has, if you want to remember the trick, it is mother CNS. Oops.
Could you just go back up to the top again, just so I can like?
Yeah.
So what
Now,
is this?
yeah,
The
I'm just trying to tell you this is the hierarchy of complexity of an organism. So if I have to name the organ system we have muscular system, we have
respiratory.
urinary system, that is excretory. We have like kidneys and all. We have respiratory system, lungs and all. We have digestive system, the whole gut from mouth to anus. We have endocrine system, that is hormones. This is D. We have reproductive system. We have circulatory system, heart and all. We have nervous system, brain and neurons. And we have skeletal system. So the mnemonic which you can remember is mother CNS. Um, so by this, an organism is formed. This is
One sec.
on the basis of number of cells, we have different sort of organisms, as you mentioned, unicellular and multicellular.
Yes.
Unicellular are made up of one cell and they are many. Now, of course, that means complexity increases when we move from uni to multi or multicellular, whatever you want to call it. Example,
Yes.
amoeba. You know amoeba?
Yes.
It has false feet. Pseudo means false, and podia is feet. And it has a nucleus. When I say nucleus, which is centrally located, it is the what?
Sorry, could you just go back up for a second?
Sure.
The other thing they just wrote about? S- s-
So basically, this is pseudopodia. P is silent. Pseudo, wherever it is used, the root word means false, and podia means feet. So these are not actually feet, but it is using these abnormal structures, irregular structures to grab the food. You know what happens when it grabs? It just make a layer. Slowly, gradually, it just increases the shape. For example, any irregular structure you can make for amoeba, and then wherever he finds food, here the food is. So he stretches like jelly and make it, and later on this will be, the outline will be here and food is inside. So because these are not actually feet, so we are calling them pseudopodia. Yeah. p
Yes.
s u p s e u d o p o d i a. This is one example. Now every, be it unicellular or multicellular, nucleus is there, but now again there's one classification based on nucleus. Based on nucleus, we have two types of organisms: eukaryotic and prokaryotic. Firstly, let me write prokaryotic and then eu. So you can see caryo root word is for nucleus. For example, study of nuclei or nucleus is karyology. So pro means primitive. These are not very developed, and U means advanced. So what happens when you talk about unicellular? They, and specifically prokaryotic, some of them are so primitive, so old, so um, I mean, they were there when Earth was made. So prokaryotic means having not either not having a nucleus or not a well-defined nucleus. They do not have a well-defined nucleus. So you will see that if there is a bacterial cell, so or a prokaryotic cell, you will see that okay, it has some lining, but there will be dot like structure at center, which doesn't have any outline, just like we do have in the case of multicellular organism, or as we have in amoeba. It also has a perfect lining, but some of them, like amoeba, is a particular because it is a different sort of organism. But we have primitives like bacterial cell. It doesn't have well-defined nucleus, and that's how we call it nucleoid. So nucleoid means false nucleus. It is just for namesake. Usually, nucleus is called as brain of the cell. Okay. It is there to control the activities just like brain does. But here in bacterial cell, and if I talk about virus, they don't even need a body. They sometimes work as parasite. In fact, most of the times, specifically for virus, and they just inject themselves into the host body and they take over the cell which host has. So this is how they don't need, proper functional nucleus. They just work like that. They are sometimes free RNA, free DNA. I'll tell you what RNA and DNA is. Is it
Yeah, I know the difference.
okay? Great.
Ribonucleic acid and deoxyribo. Yes, I know.
Okay. So prokaryotic, they don't have a well-defined nucleus. They have nucleoid, and eukaryotic, they have a well-defined nucleus. For example, most of the multicellular organisms, humans, for example. Here you can have bacteria. Bacteria is plural, bacterium is singular. Then I was talking about the cell organelles, what cell is made up of. If you talk about the multicellular, we have plants, we have animals.
Yes.
There's one difference. For example, if you talk about plant cell, it will seem like, so there will be First of all, a hard covering, which we call as cell wall. Animals don't have it. They don't have cell wall. So what happens? This is like fundamental unit of life. We are talking about cell. Animals don't have it, and that's why their shape is not fixed. Cell wall is that rigid that because of this, plant cell shape is fixed. And cell wall is made up of cellulose. Our primitives like cellulose. Those ancestors like chimpanzees, Ramapithecus, and all,
Yeah.
they used to eat raw food, be it meat or plants. And that's when in appendix, do you know appendix?
Yes.
This is now vestigial organ of our body. We don't no longer need it. What used to happen? Appendix used to have one biocatalyst that is an enzyme called cellulase, because cell wall is literally today, if we have any raw plant food, that means we are having it for fibers, because they literally don't get digested if they are raw, because we need to digest them cellulase, and we don't have it because appendix, it is no longer in use. And in evolution, those functions, I mean, those particular organs or things which are no longer in use become vestigial, right? And there will be
Mhm.
modification. Instead of that, something else will come into picture. So they used to have cellulase, but we no longer have it, and it is because cell wall is made up of cellulose. Now, in plant cell or animal cell, the next thing is cell membrane. Where is my cursor? Oh, here. So, next thing is this is cell membrane. And cell membrane is the outermost covering for animal cell and second most covering in the plant cell inside the cell wall. It is called as selectively permeable membrane. Selectively permeable. It is BLE. What does
Cell
it select?
membrane
Yes.
form slash selectively selectively
Perme-
what?
Permeable. Permeable. Membrane.
Per what does that mean?
I'm telling you. So basically, what happens? Permeable means permission to pass through.
Mm-hmm.
So it has tiny pores, but it is selectively permeable means not every single particle can pass through it and come inside and outside the cell. It only allows those particles which are beneficial or which are small in size, which can pass through the cells. You know that process, diffusion and osmosis.
No.
Okay. Basically, diffusion is when particles can move from high concentration to low. For example, if you have no concentration, if you have sprayed the perfume here, let's say near you, what will happen? This time near you, you have sprayed it. It has a lot of concentration. Uh, and other places apart from where you have sprayed it, there is less concentration or no concentration at all for perfume, right? So it will
Yes.
flow from high to low. It will flow, diffuse, it will diffuse to other places. For example, we have incense stick, we can feel the smell. We have hot food, we can feel the smell. Why? Because temperature, if that is increased, it increases the kinetic energy of molecules. They start moving and there will be greater rate of diffusion. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that, Amanat, I'm not making you confused by telling you a
No,
lot
no,
of
no, I
things.
understand.
Okay. Then there is another term which is very similar to it, that is osmosis. It is actually diffusion only, but when it is through a membrane, diffusion through a membrane. So here, selectively permeable membrane actually does osmosis. Now let me explain you osmosis a bit. Have you ever tried resins?
Sorry, could you just go back down so the definition of osmosis so I can
Yeah,
write it down? Diffusion
diffusion
through a
through a
membrane.
membrane. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, now we can move up.
So, have you ever tried raisins or any particular cereal which you have soaked in overnight in water?
Yes.
And then what you can see the change in the size of the particle, right? It will
Yes.
swollen up. It will get swollen up. So what is happening? This is because of osmosis. So let's say I have this, maybe here the water, or you can treat it as cell. Here we have cell organelles or any particular, maybe it is resin or cereal, sprouts maybe. What will happen? You have soaked it under water. Initially, the concentration outside was 100 for water, and inside it was totally, shrink in the shrink form, and let's say zero concentration of water inside it. What happens? High to low concentration, that too through membrane. It will start moving. This water will start moving in from high to low. So initially it is 100 and 0 ratio, then it will be 80, 20 inside, 60, 40 inside, 50, 50 inside, right? Once it gets equal, then the movement will stop. Are you getting it?
Slightly. So it
Okay,
goes
let me.
80 to 20,
Basically, what is
60 to
happening?
40.
Water is entering into the cell, into the sprout, or it's the cereal particle. What you
Yes, so
have put
water.
it into water. So what will happen initially if the concentration is 100? I'm just giving you hypothetical scenario. It is not necessarily that always 20% will be dropped off. No, I'm just telling you that late initially there was no zero, I mean no water inside that cereal, and 100% water was there outside it, outside the cell wherein it is put in the environment, right? And slowly, gradually, this water tries to get entry into the cell. So outside, you will see that if you have this much water and you have put these many cereals, so literally level of water will get decreased and these will start swollen up, right?
Yes.
So why it's happening? It is because of osmosis. And based on osmosis, we have three types of solution: hypertonic, hypotonic, and isotonic. Hyper means when hyper means more. When the concentration outside the cell is more and inside is less. Okay? Does this make sense? What I'm saying?
One sec. Yeah, hypertonic, hypotonic. And then 3 is iso. So, redefine the first one.
Okay. When we have hypertonic, we are only talking about inside the cell first. So what will happen? Hyper means more. So in hypertonic, more water, okay? More water is there inside the cell than its surroundings. So what do you think? Because osmosis is like high to low concentration. So that means water will flow out or will go in. What do you think? If there is more concentration inside the cell than surroundings, so because osmosis is movement from high concentration to low, water will come out, right?
Yeah.
So that means what will happen? Cell will shrink, correct?
Yes. Shrink as water.
And this is exactly happen. I think you may call me merciless if I'm giving this example, but have you ever tried uh, earthworm? If there is earthworm, if you, let's say, if any insect they are harming you or trying to harm, we can spill. See, earthworm is here. We can spill some salt on them. What will happen? Salt will make it hypertonic condition. Outside it, it is less water because salt will absorb water. And inside is more water, so earthworm dies immediately. And this big earthworm will become this much. And every single drop of water will come out. This is hypertonic situation when it shrinks like hell. Are you getting it?
So how do we define hypertonic?
So hypertonic means when the concentration of water inside the cell is more as compared to its surroundings. And when osmosis happens, cell starts shrinking. Okay?
So that's hypertonic, correct?
Hyper. Yes. When it is hypo, it is obviously reverse. Hypo means less inside the cell, less concentration inside the cell than its surrounding. So what do you think will happen to cell?
Less, so then it will take in water.
Yes, it will take in, so that means it will swell, right? Yeah,
Yes.
this is what happens if if you want to make sprouts out of cereals. They just they just soak the water. Hypotonic. And in both of the cases, there will be a time when both the concentration inside and outside will be same. Iso means same. Concentration inside and outside the cell is same.
Yes.
Clear? Because I was giving you this example that initially it was more outside and negligible inside. And then water start flowing in. So there will be a time when both of them will become equal. So no more movement. That is the condition of isotonic. Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay. So coming back to this point where I was explaining you the functioning of cell membrane, it is called as plasma membrane also. So selectively, it is called as selectively permeable because it allows which particle to get into, I mean, can get into the cell and which is not. So it is selectively permeable. After that, you will see that you have a bigger This is not plant. A bigger vacuole. Vacuole means empty space. A bigger vacuole in plant cell, and in animal cell we have small vacuoles, numerous in number, but they are smaller. What do they do? So their functioning is like they carry waste material, anything which is there to dump in. Okay, that is for there. So if I talk about what vacuole, have you mentioned it?
Yes.
Okay, so vacuoles, they are like large sac, and then they store store the things within them. So we have different types. For example, when it comes to unicellular organism like amoeba, it doesn't have body. For example, if I eat, it will go into my stomach. But amoeba doesn't have these what you call compartments. It is just a freely flowing jelly-like structure. So what happens? Um, Once it captures the food and food is inside it, there will be a coating. This is food. There will be a coating outside the food which is called as vacuole, food vacuole, which will have some enzymes to digest it. And once the food gets digested and absorbed, then another vacuole will be created, which is called as contractile or excretory vacuole. It will only be having waste, and then it will slowly get moved out from via this pseudopodia only. Are you getting it? So vacuoles are
Yeah.
there just for storage, be it for excretory storage or food storage or whatever it is. Okay. And in plant cell, they occupy, I mean, they have this significant space there. And sometimes they store nutrients also. Okay. Which provide rigidity to the cell. So after that, which organelle is there? Very important. Cytoplasm.
Cytoplasm.
Yes. So what is cytoplasm?
Cytoplasm is it's like almost like a jelly-like fluid inside the cell that covers the entire cell that helps keep up the all the organelles inside the cell.
Yes, it is a fluid. So you can call it as a transportation medium through various cell organelles. So it is cytoplasm. And so it has, you can see that every cell organelle is literally flowing in the cytoplasm. Okay. And cytoplasm also has two parts. One is cytosol, sol means solution, and another one is cell organelles. So cell organelles are flowing literally vacuoles, plastids, cell wall. Cell wall is there on outside, but every other organelle is literally flowing. So these are subcellular structures. And cytosol is aqueous and transparent, transporting material. Okay, help in transportation. Is this fine?
Yes.
Now, when I say cell organelle, what else is there? There is endoplasmic reticulum. Have you heard of it?
Pardon?
Endoplasmic reticulum.
No. Uh, no. Yeah, no.
Okay. So when I say endoplasmic reticulum, it is reticulum word in biology means network. when we start talking about these terms, topics, like picture which you have sent, it has DNA reticulum, chromatin reticulum. Reticulum means network. So you will find out that there will be this sort of network, this sort of network surrounding by Golgi body. We'll come to that. So this is ER. That means endoplasmic. Endo means inside, plasma, reticulum. And it also has two parts, rough and smooth. So RER and SER. Rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So what they do, why one is rough and one is smooth? Because rough one, for example, this is ER. It has some dot like structure. These are called as ribosomes. Have you heard of ribosomes?
Yes, ribosomes I've heard about.
These are protein factories of the cell. So because they have rough structure, because of ribosomes, they are rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. And you cannot work alone. It has a Golgi body, and then, am I audible or glitching?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
you're audible. Sorry.
That's right. And Golgi body has this network-like structure. Okay. So Golgi body or Golgi apparatus, what we call it. So they work hand in hand, ER and Golgi body. So they create this membrane network-like structure. Okay. So when I say smooth, it doesn't have ribosomes, and it is literally smooth one is literally for storage of steroids. It has tubes and vesicles. Tubules and vesicles. Okay. Vesicles, long structure. And RER, it is rough because of ribosomes. So they are literally doing protein synthesis. Okay. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So rough has ribosomes and it helps in protein synthesis. Now, what is Golgi complex or Golgi body does? I mean, what does it do? So, Golgi body literally is called as traffic police of the cell. Why it is so? Because first of all, it is located near the nucleus, prime location, and they are different in structure, and they are involved in cell secretion. Whatever secretion will be there, what needs to be secrete or release. They also help in
Okay.
storage. They are responsible for any modification in the cell or the condensation, like the level of water, how much it has to be, and it is also called as
I'm just gonna,
packaging.
yeah, I'm gonna take a photo of this because I'm gonna write this down all afterwards. Just try to understand it.
Sure.
This because it's quite a bit of writing.
Yeah. So it is also responsible, when if we talk about the sperm, then it has a head and a tail. This sperm has this head which has acrosome. This is also made of Golgi body. So Golgi body is responsible for that. And Golgi body releases lysosome. Have you heard of it?
Lysosome? Yeah, I heard of lysosome.
Lysosome, societal bags of the cell. So if they don't get food, if they don't get food on time, then they literally start eating their own cell organelles. So this way, cell will die, and hence they are called as
Yeah.
what? Societal bags, yeah.
Yeah.
And when we will start looking for cell division in DNA chapter, then the cell plate which is required for cell division, they are responsible for its formation also. So a lot they are doing. Then we have mitochondria. What do you know about mitochondria?
It's a powerhouse of the cell,
A
essentially.
powerhouse. And only uh, firstly, let's talk about this powerhouse of the cell. This is a double membrane organelle,
Yeah.
and it
Mitochondria.
has it has its own DNA. It has its own DNA so as to take its control its function. So that's why it is also called as semi-autonomous. Autonomous means self-sustained, which do what they want to do, but it is semi-autonomous because it is under control of DNA, nucleus also. But in order to generate the energy, those ATP molecules which I told you, adenosine triphosphate during respiration, they get
Yeah.
stored here only in mitochondria. That's why it is called as powerhouse. Then we have plastids. Plastids, they are lit. They are not found in animal cell. They're found in plant cell, or we call what we call as algae.
Okay.
Why they are,
Plastids.
yeah, plastids are found in plant cell or algae. Algae. Have you ever seen algae?
Sorry? Yes.
Have you? Okay. So usually we see it as green in color, but there are different colors of algae. We can found in sea red algae. There is blue green algae, BGA. So different type. And why the color is, I mean, from where color is coming? It is because of plastids. So they have. Amana, do you want me to paste down? Like, is it fine or
No,
I'm
it's okay. I can write this down. Don't worry. I'm writing it down.
so plastids often contain pigments. So, for example, chloroplast,
Yeah,
which
I know what
gives,
chloroplast is.
yes,
So we'll give leaves their color. Yeah, I know what that is.
green color, chloroplast, chromo, rest of the colors, and leuco is colorless. So this way they play an important role, like photosynthesis is possible because of chloroplast. Chromoplast has different colors, red, yellow, green. So, we need colorful petals and sepals for pollination to attract insects in plants. So, those colors are literally because of chromoplast, color of flowers and whatnot. And leucoplasts, they are colorless, white plastic, also they are called, because they are not exposed to light. They are that hidden. So if they are not exposed to light, there will be nothing, I mean, no color will be refracted or reflected. They are just there to synthesize oil and proteins.
Okay.
When we squeeze a leaf, sometimes we feel oily. That is because of
Yeah.
leucoplast. Now, let's come back to nucleus once again. So, nucleus, the brain of the cell. Inside nucleus, what is there? It has 23 pairs of chromosomes. If I talk about human body, 23 pairs of chromosomes, out of which 22 pairs are autosomes. I mean, they are same in every single organism. I mean, if we talk about human race only, be it male or female, it is autosome only. I mean, 22 pairs. But one pair is there, which is called as sex chromosome. So we'll talk about it. If it is XX, then it is a girl. And if it is XY, then it is a boy. So they help us in determining gender also.
So we have 23, so you would have 22 pairs, 22 pairs, which are autosomes, somes, and then we have one pair, which is the next chromosome, which is XX for girl, XY for boy. Yeah, we can continue.
If I don't go in deep and just talk about the functions of nucleus, I'll say it controls all the metabolic activities. That's why it is the brain of the cell. Do you know what are metabolic activities?
Not really.
Okay, so metabolic means which are necessary for survival. Um, Activities or processes important for functioning of a cell. So what is that? Or cell or an organism? So you will see that in our body, every single minute or second, in fact, something is generated, something is we are getting rid of. So there are two things, either construction is happening or destruction is happening. So constructional activities are anabolic activities, and destruction one are catabolic activities. For example, when food is formed and prepared, that is anabolic. Photosynthesis is anabolic. And destruction, for example, catabolism, if you are splitting down respiration. So we eat, we sleep, we walk. All these are metabolic activities. digestion of food, excretion, circulation. All those organ system which they are doing, those are necessary for survival. Otherwise, we will not be able to live. Is this fine?
Yeah.
So nucleus, it controls metabolic activities. It brings about growth of the cell because, of course, it is directing the cell organelles to synthesize proteins, and proteins are important for the growth. And then it regulates cell cycle. I'll tell you what cell cycle is. Cycle starting till death of the cell. It regulates everything. And the most important is it carries genetic information, which gets transferred from parents to offspring. So it carries that. The heredity material is there. What is that material? I mean, is it literally nucleus which is carrying the genetic information or something else? So that something else is actually chromosomes. And not only chromosomes, where has it gone? Chromosome. Oh, yeah. So, chromosomes look like this. So if you,
Yes.
this is nucleus, I'm zooming in, and then you will find this sort of structure. This is chromatin reticulum. Reticulum means network of chromosomes. And when you zoom in, there will be thread-like structure. One thread will look like this. This is a chromosome, a pair of chromosome. Then chromosome has DNA, as you say, deoxyribonucleic acid. And this DNA has genes or alleles. If I draw DNA for you, it is like this double helical structure. One this way, parallel, parallel, and these are connected with hydrogen bonds. These two strands. I could see that in your book. It is given in very detailed manner. So we'll talk about the name of hydrogen bonds also. What do we call them in biology? Anyways, so you know what happens in DNA? On DNA, there are so many genes. So one gene is for what will be the color of my eyes. Will it be brown, black? Will it match with my mother, father? Um, so every single, for example, we have height allele, genes for height. So height can be tall, medium, dwarf. Dwarf means that the person is below average. I mean, height is very less. So you will see that this information is getting transferred while reproduction, and how it is getting transferred, that I need to tell you, that we will take up in the next class. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's